So I wanted to come on tonight just because here's the bottom line. This situation that is going on regarding Alexandria is absolutely ridiculous. I'm sitting here thinking about all the things I've had to fear, all the things she's had to fear. I'm thinking, why is this so dramatic? Like, my first question is, where's the beef? Where's your problem? What's your problem? I mean, you guys could fabricate lies up like you have before, but seriously, just get serious already. What's your problem? Nothing ever happened. I was never mean to Jorge. Because this really just feels just kind of like a hate from like a Mr. and a Mrs. She's jealous of the exes and she's got to be the best and he's got to be a man and you guys just both want to be hateful, adversarial, keeping Alexandria from me as if anything happened and you fabricated it. Who takes chances committing crimes like that? People that just want to be entitled to kids? Sure, there's plenty of them out there. But really? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like, how come you guys can't just get along and stop being weirdos, trying to hold my child hostage from me? There has to be a reason. And there isn't a real reason. There isn't an actual reason. So what's up with that? I think it's ridiculous. Nobody should have to sit around in fear, living under this weird fear thing. It's something that I've been enjoined into with no, I've wanted to have nothing to do with this man and this criminal mind of his. And there's nothing I could do to avoid it. Unintended pregnancy. That's what this is. This is exactly what this Roe versus Wade decision is looking straight in the eyes at. Ooh, the seduction campaigns that men are running on women and the single mothers that are not given their rights and their respects in law, in family court, in society. And in fact, the people who broke the covenant with God, trying to turn it into a man and a woman's bondage together. In fact, when the covenant of God was between the mother and the child, but man wanted to exalt himself and she wanted to hide herself. So there they went, little Bonnie and Clyde. Sounds to me like this is a game of entitlement where you guys think you're allowed to judge me and put me in some place because you guys are perfect, right? Crystal clean, right? I'm just let's put that on the table because I'm wondering why are you guys being so adversarial towards me again? You haven't even allowed me the ability to contact my daughter, let alone you, to get you guys to come to the table. And I'm saying you guys because it's a you guys and it's not just a him. They also get that wrong. Well, I'm going to change the system. That's the way I'm going to see it. While I'm at it, I'm going to believe it can be the best it can be. I already know it might not go my way, but while I'm at it, it's the most productive thing I can do. And what I would do to change the system is, first of all, replace the mother and child covenant. This bondage thing, the woman's slave. Woman was the first slave on the face of this earth. Mm-hmm. That was a lie. That was a robbery. Replace that. Put that back where it belongs. Get things properly situated. And there's not allowed to be any kind of second wife coming into the picture without an agreement that she's also going to respect the covenant of the mother and the child. I mean, this whole situation stinks because men seduce women all the time. There's almost as many unintended pregnancies as there are births on a yearly basis. That's disgusting. Like almost 50% are unintended. And a lot of them are born. And now when they change the rules, they're going to place women to be with these criminals that are targeting them. I'm going to suggest that women put an IUD in. Keep that thing in there for 5-10 years, honey. At least you can eliminate the incentive. You know what I mean? Here, we'll take one for the team again, But seriously. when you think about the violence that's been caused by this religious lie, just to play G.I. Joe, warfighter, and all you people out there, and you know who I'm talking to, pushing your agenda, pushing your point, just being adversarial. You guys can't get along. You guys don't even realize. This is what I see from the outside looking in, because I don't have a thing to do with politics or any adversaries or any of this nonsense. I want to have a peaceful life, and I've been terrorized for the last 6 years, and so is my child. You can't ignore that. Don't try to justify it. But go ahead. I'm going to ask you to justify it. What are you doing this for again? Yeah. I'm a single mother that had that child independently because Jorge and I were no longer going to be an item. We got pregnant, knowing each other for 1 month, and 1 month after that, we were through. So he basically waltzed back into the picture like a stranger, acting like he's a father, and stole the child from me. And that's all it takes, these men, to have a child with a woman, and he can now ruin her life. And it seems like it's got some kind of entitlement associated with it. Like these husband-wife teams think that they can be entitled to just take a child from a mother. That's abuse, and that's violent, and that's sickening and narcissistic. But there's also families out there that think in the same kind of ways. Nobody ever tells anybody anything. They're just killing each other behind the scenes. It's gross. It's terribly gross. Children, you guys, children. And let me make a double entendre out of that. Children. These people are acting like children. And it shouldn't be adversarial like this. So you're going to have to explain why you want to keep up the argument, why you want to keep up your little bickering. That's not even appropriate in a civil sense. But you want to act so civil? You're not. That's not civil. So what do you have to hide? Clearly it's something. Clearly you think that my daughter and I are never going to talk to each other again. That's why you figured you could cut me out of her life and that would be it. Really? That's sounds either delusional or murderous. I don't know which one it is planning on being. But it certainly isn't planning on being nothing. Yeah, I have bit my tongue. I have minded my patience because I've been terrified. And I have had to run for my life. And I'm lucky to be alive. Okay? So that's the facts of the matter. And I haven't bit my tongue because I've been patient and I have just been asking for guidance from God. And you know what God brought me to? A very fascinating thing about this Bible, taking into consideration the false translation of the exaltation and taking the covenant in the wrong direction. What I found is in the books, various books, and I haven't read the whole thing at all. I'm just getting to know the thing. There's various books that tell stories that almost have a case involved in it, a controversy. But each of the books almost tells a story from a different perspective. Almost like, no, I don't want to read it from that perspective. That's not the way it is. And when I apply it like that, I'm all, oh, okay, I can see where my heart is at. And I can see how it represents an opportunity to choose a path between me and my soul that God is aware of. That's how God knows my, what's the word? I'm thinking countenance, reverence, or, my virtue. God knows my virtue because God knows me, right? Don't we all kind of agree that the God energy knows us all in a way, the universe, we're connected to it. So by me understanding this and God seeing what story I choose to say the ending through tells a lot about me. Do I want it to end like Malachi? Jeremiah? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Well, certainly in Isaiah, it talks about a death of the two-parter. And I'll have to say this has been a death. This has been a death to both of us. We have been murdered and slaughtered on the streets and left for dead. And now we're just basically the living dead, just waiting until people who are supposed to be civil can be civil or be found out for what they're up to. And I shouldn't be in a situation to have my child robbed from me because of fraudsters, crimes, loopholes, corruption, exaltation of man, exaltation of man's wife, and everybody just wants to hate on the woman and the child and get away with it. Well, not on my watch. That's not the way it's going to end. You see, because in Isaiah, just because I got to ask God for guidance, because it's not going to come from anywhere else. I'm already up against world powers and thugs that'll kill you. And that's not I'm not going to resort to your guys' levels. And I'm not going to like walk into Elon Musk tomorrow. And so it's going to come from God. And according to Isaiah, it's in fact the bringer back of the covenant. Fascinating. That's what I believe. And it's the bringer on of the prosecution. Why? That's exactly what I believe. Prosecution against the people for breaking the covenant. And basically has the opportunity to say, look, I got you, but I don't want things to end in more eyes for an eye. This is where I want you to see where you've gone wrong and how it feels to be shown how to do it right. And this is when this servant and the death of that servant brings the return of the land. And it's a two-parter. And it's Alexandria and I. I believe she is my evolution. That's why I believe our children are our Lord, that we should be honoring, giving everything that we can to see them, that they're successful, because they're our evolution. So robbing my child was just not even just robbing my child. It's robbing me of my God-given right. It's robbed me of my obligation and duty to Alexandria that I promised her that she counts on. It's robbing me of my purpose in life. It's robbing me of what feeds my soul and spirit since the second her and I came together. It's beyond words how vile it is. On its face, period. There was no child protective services taking my child from me. And if they did, they would have given me notice and violations and time to come back to court and make corrections. And if then I didn't do it, then I would have had to be subject to maybe my child getting taken from me. But there still would have been notices. She wouldn't have been moved that fast over jurisdiction lines, never to come home, never to get a teddy bear, never to pet her cat again, never to hug her mom again, never to say goodbye house, never to say goodbye to her friends, none of it. And that's the kind of thing that you only do when a child is about to be murdered by the terrorist parent who's been plotting in an Amityville horror house. That's about it. And that was not going on whatsoever. Okay? You're not allowed to just do that. That's violence to a child on its face. And there's no excuse. There's none of your delusional self-reflections that you want to accuse me of, that you in fact are just showing your guilty hand, like you did in court. You showed your guilty hand when you filed with the court saying to correct the typographical error when they had changed your last name, Jorge. The judge had to order the transcript and bring us back to court just to show it to you. And then you said, well, I disagree with it still. Why? Because she's going to drop my last name and just go with Hemi. Well, actually, Jorge, I never did that. But you've in fact done that to her. She's got drawings over and over with blue, cloudy skies saying, bye, Alec, Hemi, Vasquez. She knew she had to write it just with yours. There's a lot of evidence here without having to talk to her or go into your house about the violence here. And again, it shouldn't even be an adversarial thing. You're not even allowed to take my child. You're not my ex-husband. You are not my partner. You are not my co-parent. Okay, and I had naivety to the law. But this is the bottom line, and I don't appreciate being hunted down, being exiled, being coerced. Somehow, my whole entire family fell for this now. Did you coerce them all to believe something, or did they coerce you into this? Either way, it's criminal on everybody's end, and I'm not here to deal with it. I'm worried about my child and myself being able to heal and feel safe again. That's what matters to me. And almost 6 years. In California and Los Angeles, they're doing, 10% of their time? So for me to have been served a nearly 6-year sentence, that means I would have had to have been convicted for 50-year, 60-year sentence? I would have had to have committed mass genocide or something. Because Ron Gerard Boyajian, the pedophile that I told on when I was 16, who also could very well be hunting after me, and all these criminal organizations could be linked, who knows? But yeah, for a second conviction of vile, heinous things, multiple children, he gets 70 years, but it's not going to really be 70 years. And the information kind of looks like it's not even being truthful. As if they let pedophiles off the hook all the time. Who knows? I just don't want to talk about it. But the point I'm making is I have just served almost 6 years, separated from my daughter. You've been telling her whatever you've been telling her. You've been making her led to believe that I abandoned her or whatever. You're obviously not telling her good things. Okay? You're obviously not planning on her ever talking to me again or me talking to her again. Which one is it? You've got a Gmail address, skiller14. And she's going to be 14 this year, in a few months. You better believe that makes me feel absolutely terrified as well. Your sister has an email address. What is it? Like crazy, happy, crazy, happy people, something like that. Violent. Yeah, it's like violently happy. Not cool. Not cool. And just so you know, there's a whole lot of your wife's names and your names all over the records. It's nearly impossible to decide who's who, but there's a lot of questions with names of scars and heights and weights and things. And all I can say is terrifying, terrifying, terrifying. So this must be your purpose, is to terrify me, to terrify my child. It's got to have something to do with your own feeling of needing to be feeling important or feeling like you're getting away with it, to feel like you're actually a good guy. But that's never going to last. So that's delusional. You could be doing this because you're getting paid to do this. And in which event? That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But my point is, why can't you guys just get along? I already know why you can't get along, but I think it's a rational question to bring up at this point. What's your guys' problem? Anyway, what's your problem? You know, people have kids all the time together. You're going to have to learn how to get along, kids, or else you're not going to be able to be an adult with other adults. Right? Aren't you guys parents of other children? Is this how you act with everybody? I have every right to want to know what you've been doing to my child, telling my child, forcing my child to deal with. I know that she was forced to call your wife mom. I know that you prevented me from saying I love you on the phone. You take the phone and let her sob and say, see what your mommy's making me do? You know what I wasn't going to let you do? I wasn't going to let you intimidate me into not saying I love you, so she just started to wonder why I stopped saying it. No, if you were going to be abusing her every time I said I love you, then you were going to abuse her every time I said I love you. And that's why you got your no contact fraud empty document that's void and not even valid. Because it was too much of a hassle for you to have to browbeat and brainwash my child twice a week to talk to me when you had to supervise over her and she couldn't even feel comfortable talking to me on the phone. That's abuse on its face. Now, I haven't even mentioned the technical crimes that have been taking place against the record, against my name, against the surveillance, against the hacking, against my cell phone number, all of that, telecommunications. You got the people. You're networked in pretty well, aren't you? Listen, I don't want to have anything to do with madness and insanity. This world has enough of it. I don't want to have anything to do with satanic, creepy, demonic perversions. Not a thing to do with it. And I have every right to raise my child. And I'm already going to dedicate my entire life to making sure she is healed and capable of being as successful as possible. And this is going to stop now. Okay? I'm commanding the universe. May go my way, may not. But while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and ask for it the way I want it. Because I've got pure virtue. And I don't have adversarialism in me. And I'm even willing to look past this. If you're capable of coming with the truth, handing my child over, being honest, and coming to the table, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think it's possible. But I'm telling you, I'm not opposed to trying to just get along. Clearly, you guys are suffering from something. I honestly think you guys need help. Literally, I do believe that you guys need help. Okay, unless this is in fact your job and your career, and in which case you guys are just part of the problem, and we're going to deal with that as well. But the point I'm making is, I didn't ask for this, Jorge. I didn't ask for your insanity. I didn't ask for your possessiveness. I didn't ask for your creepy behavior. I didn't ask for you trying to ruin my name, ruin my career, ruin everything about me. For what? Hate. I didn't do anything to you. You kicked me out. We were over. What's your problem? I was good to you. I helped you. I invited your family over. Christina and I were close. I heard from Kim. She doesn't even talk to Christina anymore. What's going on with you guys? Look, I don't care. I'm not here to deal with you. But I'm sick and tired of your false domestic violence. You made things up. Alexandria, I can't even go outside in the yard because of you. I never even went to their house. Who can write and fabricate complete lies and then lie to the authorities when they have to pretend it? This is disgusting. Childish, but it's sick and demented. And it's violent, and guess what? It's knowledgeable. It's knowledgeable in its criminality, and that is dangerous. But I'm not here to be your adversary because I want to live life, and I want to participate in making this earth a better place, just like Alec does. Because Alexandria is my daughter, remember? I raised her until you stole her the second time when she was 7.5 years old. But during those 7.5 years, Alexandria and I have a very strong bond. And we talked about changing the world together. All the things that we're going to do. She said, I'm never going to move out of the house, Mom. I'm like, really? Even to go to college? She's like, no, that's because she loves me and she's just being cute. We'd blow each other strawberry chocolate kisses. I haven't heard her voice. I haven't been able to say, are you okay? Not since you stole her that day. And then the courts pretended that they didn't even do anything. They said they returned the papers for proper filing and then never said it was completed or granted. All the while you had my kid in adverse possession, just litigating me into bankruptcy and homelessness. Then you sent in the thugs to try to prevent me from getting to court and harass me and try to get more false claims on the record and false associate me and so on and so forth. And it's still happening to this very day. Okay, and I know where that's linked. But like I said, I'm not here to be an adversary. I'm not here to be your FBI investigator and uncover the bad guys. I care about my child more than I do about my ego. I even care about my child more than I care about the world. I've said it out loud to God many times. Dear God, if they could just let me be their maid and their slave, I could just live with my daughter and do her homework with her and put her to bed at night. For crying out loud, I'd do it. Dear God, if all I could do is just, do you feel me? I care about my kid more than I care about the world. If you want me to agree that I won't change the world, if you give me my kid back and we can heal and we don't have to look over our shoulders, then that's something I'm going to really consider here. Because honestly, she matters more than anything in the entire universe. I don't have ego. And I'm not here for the world. I'm here for my covenant with my child. And she's not getting slaughtered like Jesus. Nobody's getting slaughtered anymore. That was lies. It was more G.I. Joe warfighter weirdo shit. Weirdo shit. Enough. Stop trying to justify war fighting. Stop trying to justify arguing. Stop trying to justify perversions. Stop trying to justify abuse and weird agendas. If you can't get along, then you can't get along. But adults should be able to get along. And things can be gotten beyond. If you think that things can't be gotten beyond, I'd like for you to explain to us all, that would be the proverbial court, why you don't think that things can go to a place of peace. What is it that you're so hung up on? I'd love to hear your answer for that. But honestly, I could care less to hear your answer for that because I just want my daughter returned. And I want this terrorizing to end. This is psychological terrorizing, slow, torturous murder. We've done our time. We've already paid for it with our lives being sacrificed to death and murder on the streets. And we're still holding on strong. That means we made it through the wilderness. And you better believe with God's favor. Just like it says in the story. Yeah. There can be a good ending. Turns out Isaiah can be the way you end the Bible. It doesn't have to end in Revelation. Yeah. Turns out lots of them do the same thing, I think. I'm going to say the handful of ones, like the Daniel, the Jeremiah, I swear to God, they all kind of end, on their own. All I can say is then pick the book that serves your soul. Clearly the ones that want to talk about Revelation are weirdos. They want it to be all calamitous and, like bum, 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 and the Antichrist and all this weird manic Monday nonsense. Pick a better book. Pick a better book. Pick a better book. Pick a better book where you can see yourself as the hero and the hero that makes it out of it, and lived happily ever after. That's the one that Alexandria and I talked about and will have. So now I put this on the record because I don't want to feel like I've got you breathing on my neck, and I do, because that's just the kind of way you've been. That's just the creepy eyeball that came after me in the bathroom and then turned around and accused me of attacking you. You do need help. You do accuse things that are in fact what your guilty conscience is thinking. You've got that narcissistic way of thinking that we all think the same, so you've got to attack first. It's mental, and I want to have nothing to do with it. That's why I didn't. You're not allowed to be a robber and try to pretend like you're a dad. Go be a father of your other children. Don't steal children from other mother's wife of him. Okay, back off. This isn't going to be some jealous woman-to-woman thing. I'm not doing that either. I don't want to have a thing to do with you guys. But that doesn't mean we have to argue. That never meant we had to argue. I'm pretty sure it's not going to go to peace from here on out. I'm saying I don't want to have anything to do with you. If we're able to, I just don't ever want to see you guys again. And you can try to have a relationship with Alexandria in the next couple of years when she's an adult. You'll give me back my time, all right? And let bygones be bygones. But the point I'm making is it never had to go to this. How unattractive is that for a wife person to be all weird with the ex? Well, that's because I've seen plenty of women like that, like my dad's wife. It's this weird entitlement thing. And if she's going to exalt him and serve him like his slave, well, then he's going to let her get away with being exalted also. And there you go. There's the madness of Bonnie and Clyde. But that's not the real covenant of God. And no, you guys aren't going to get away with lying. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about man and woman, Adam and Eve, the thieves of the covenant, trying to turn this into a false story. It's not going to go down like that. The world I'm living in, and the world that I'm living in, you've got something that belongs to me that I need to get back right away. And we'll deal with it. Simple as that. I'm not your adversary, and I'm tired of being pulled into your mental illness. I'm tired of being terrorized and hunted and stalked. And I'm pretty sure that my daughter is tired of not being able to hear my voice and hear I love you at minimum. Happy birthday. You know, I was told when I sent her the big box of gifts, she didn't get any of it. You took all of her pictures away. Abusive. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to have a thing to do with you people. I want my daughter back. And if you guys have any kind of like couth or like, you know, coming to your senses, knowing how to be an adult, like, yeah, man, that really wasn't cool. Anything like that. Trust me. I'll meet you on the table with a handshake. I hear you, man. Right on. That's big of you. I'm happy to hear it. See you later. Like, no problems. You got me? You're not going to talk me into being your insanity. The only thing you have talked me into is getting blindsided by something I couldn't see coming. Is how to get knocked down by something that was certainly going to knock me down. Do you feel cool because you were able to accomplish exactly what you did to me? That you should feel like a piece of shit. Like as if you just punched a baby in the face and took their candy from them. That's how you should feel, like a total weirdo, creep, bad guy, loser. Nobody does that if they have any integrity. That's what I'm going to leave it at. I don't want to have a thing to do with you guys. And I want you guys to stop picking on me and focusing on me and your mental illness. Carry on with your lives. Give me mine back. Okay? I want Alexandria. I need to know she's alive. Why are you keeping her and I apart? What's up? What's your beef? What's all this about again? Because it smells a whole lot like hate of a Mr. and a Mrs. just trying to exalt themselves like the perfect little parents that probably have a whole lot more to hide. And that's why they've got to act like adversaries that are constantly complaining and constantly arguing and constantly having to file things and say that things are going wrong because you're trying to deflect the energy first. You're the first in line, first in timers. I know. Only criminals have it like down pat. Only criminals have their freaking attorney on speed dial. An innocent person doesn't even have an attorney's number. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want my daughter back, and I want this insanity to go away. I want Alexandria and I to be able to heal, and that is reasonable. Don't you agree? I think so. I think it's more than reasonable. especially considering that there are other links to my grandpa and the wealthy money man in the family and the whatever's going on with the genetic surveillance. I'll deal with that. I'll deal with that. That's my family. Okay? And if necessary, if you still have a problem with this because it's like your job to keep up this front, because that's the only reason why you'd keep up this front. If you can keep up this front, you're keeping up this front because you're hired to keep up this front. Because a rational person would, after this much years, who's been to prison himself for multiple felony aggravated robbery, who's been to prison, can be the kind of person that doesn't keep punishing someone for something. Right? Okay, rational thinking. Even if you thought I committed aggravated robbery too, you'd be able to like let it go, couldn't you? Because like you did it too. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So after this many years, if you want to keep up this thing, then it's clearly because you're hired to do it. Because any rational person at this point, especially with the way you look, with the fraud and the adverse possession and all that other stuff, you'd think you'd try to make yourself look at least as clean as possible at this point, don't you? I would think so too. So let's just see how you handle this. And to any investigator that comes upon this information, please excuse me, it's 110 degrees in this house in Las Vegas. And I'm absolutely terrorized, like I've said. And every single time I've tried to get help, it's punished me. I've gone to prison, jail. Didn't need to go to jail. This is all false charges, false claims to terrorize me out of California. I'm lucky to be alive. Multiple instances I could go into that I won't go into right now. I'm lucky to be alive. And I don't even know if my daughter's alive. That's my child. I have the equity if you need it in commerce. Whatever you need, I got. Whatever you need, I got. I got the papers right here. I got 2,000 pages of a friggin' file. Did it myself. They ignored every single piece of it. And I'm not an angry person. I'm absolutely quite rational and compassionate because I happen to have passion for making things better, changing them actually, not just being complacent. I'm a good guy. And this world makes too many assumptions about things it doesn't know. Too many hypotheses that it's always getting wrong. We'll deal with that in another situation. Right now, I just need help getting my daughter returned to me. It's been long enough. There is clearly prima facie evidence that this is abusive on its face. To me, to my daughter, period. To the law should be offended that this was done underneath its nose, if you will. Go ahead, Sure, I didn't see the judge do. Sure, the judge didn't go along with it. Yeah, let's just blame it on him. That's fine. Blame it on him. He did. He participated in it every step of the way. And he should very well take the rap for all those things. But I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about one thing is my daughter. You better believe, I believe I'm due restitution, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Because the second that my daughter's in my possession, I can feel alive again. And I have a career, 20 years in due diligence underwriting. Something was done to my name. Something was done to my career. He did always threaten to want to call a Bank of America and tell him I was smoking pot. Well, he's the guy that carries out his threats. Yeah, my cat ended up dead on Halloween night. And then they got a cat that looked just like our cat, and they named it the same name. And then a year later, when Alec was looking for the cat, she was told, oh, our cat died the same night your cat died. Which basically sent my child the message that cats die when blank, blank, blank doesn't happen. Enough is enough. Alexandria, I love you. I can't wait to hold you and give you the biggest hug. Almost 14 years old. We're going to get this, and we're going to get this right. And people out there are going to do what's right because they know they should. It doesn't mean that they've been perfect, but by golly, you're going to do what's right now. Let yourself have some moving forward, huh? Earn yourself some worthy of a new world. Okay? Let's bring love back, people. This place has gone mad. Can't we all just get along? Hello, VE. Love.